The Model 3 and the Model Y are very similar cars. In fact, they share about 70% of the same parts. Do note, this is the old Model 3. If you buy a new Model 3, it'll come with a couple different features and stuff that I covered in a different video. This is because the Model 3 was recently refreshed, but the Model Y refresh won't be coming until 2025. So if you buy a new Model Y, this is what you'll be getting. So for new Tesla buyers, just be aware of that. But for used Tesla buyers or anyone else interested, let's get into the differences between this Model 3 and this Model Y. So like I said, they share 70% of the same parts. So when it comes to the interior, things like driving, menu settings, the screen, the whole interior layout, that'll be very, very similar, almost identical in the Model 3 and the Model Y. You do have differences versus the black and white interior, but that's both for the 3 and the Y. However, a very subtle difference, the front seats are the same, the 3 versus the Y. Ours and the Y are white, the 3 is black, so you can see the difference here, but the back seat's a little bit different. In the Model Y, the stitching on the actual seat part where you put your butt, there's less stitching there versus the Model 3. You come to the Model 3, you see there's a little bit more of an extra stitching pattern. Again, a very subtle difference, but something to keep in mind. But some of the major differences, obviously the size. People say the Y is just a bigger version of the 3, and they're not wrong. When it comes to exterior and interior, you just have more size in the Model Y. So some specifics in the exterior of the Model Y, it's a little bit wider, quite a bit taller, and you have a little bit more ground clearance compared to the Model 3. And with more interior space comes more legroom. This seat's pretty far back, but you can see I can put my knees in. I got a little extra room here, but more comfortable in the Model Y. And let's hop to the Model 3 and show you what that legroom is like. And obviously the Model 3 is lower, so I gotta get in and actually sit down, drop into the seat, and you'll see I can still, like, my knees are touching, I can still sit upright, but definitely not nearly as much room as the Model Y. Another big difference, the Model Y that we're in now has one giant piece for the sunroof. Teslas are known for having a big sunroof, but the Model 3 actually has a little division that goes across right in the middle here, whereas the Model Y is one giant piece. So you get clear visibility in both, but the Model Y, there's no divider. Another exterior difference here on the Model Y, we have this big plastic piece in the bottom of the rear. Just typical of SUVs in general, but compared to the Model 3, you get a lot more car. It goes all the way down to here, where this little piece here is plastic, not nearly as big as the Model Y rear. Back to the Model Y, the actual trunk opening is different too. It's a hatchback style, so a much larger opening. The rear glass comes up with it. This is removable, so you can take it out. You can see how much room we have here in the Model Y trunk with the hatchback opening compared to the Model 3. The trunk opens not nearly as wide, and what I mean by that is it's not that hatchback style, so you see the rear window is still here. This is a much smaller opening than the Model Y. Both the 3 and the Y have a sub-trunk space. The Y is a little bit bigger just because everything in the Y is bigger. But the Y has a little secret storage space here. If you take us out of the way, you have a little bit of room here to hide things like window covers like we have here. Not that giant of a space, but something that the Model 3 does not have. I got the mic off to show you guys something pretty fun, a little fun difference. The closing sounds in the trunk. So the Model 3 comes from inside the car. When you close the trunk, it sounds like this. And the Model Y sounds a little more modern, and I don't know why they do this, but it is a little different. So the Model Y, you can hear it. Quieter, newer, different. Another subtle but kind of important difference are these door panels here. In the Model Y, they're lined with a carpet material, so things in here won't rattle around. It'll be more quieter compared to the Model 3 over here, which is lined with just plastic. So if you have things in here that rattle around, you'll hear them moving in the Model 3. I mentioned it already, but the front size is different as well. Again, Model Y, a little bit wider, but a lot deeper compared to the Model 3. The fronts open and close the same way on both, but just the size is different. The Model 3, not that much shorter, but definitely less deep. And then just generally between the 3 and Y, the different trims like the long range, standard range, performance, you'll have different wheel sizes between 18, 19, and 20 inch. You'll have some different range and different performance levels as well, but those all depend on the type of car, 3 or Y, that you get. However, something exclusive to the Model Y that is an option to add on is an optional 3rd row. So you'll lose quite a bit of trunk space, but there is an option to add some extra seats back here to have a 7-seater Model Y. Also for the Model Y, the Model 3, you cannot add a tow hitch to it. To a Model Y, if you were to add that on your car, you would have a tow hitch right here capable of towing 3,500 pounds. And then lastly, the Model 3 doesn't have the HEPA filters that the Model Y has. And something that comes with that that's pretty cool, if you go to climate, the Model Y has what we call a bioweapon defense mode, which uses the HEPA filters to get loud in here in a few seconds. It cranks like crazy. But if you drive through like a fire or something that smells really bad or just want to use the filters, you got that option. So there are some of the big differences between the Model 3 and the Model Y. Also, like I said, do keep in mind a new Model 3 will be different than this. They have the refreshed model out, but as of today or until 2025, Elon says this is the new Model Y you'll be getting. When the Model Y refresh comes out, this will be different as well. But I hope this was helpful to see some of the major differences, maybe some minor ones that I missed. If I did, let me know. But as always, hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.